Hey guys, back again with another review, this time of Wishmaster 2, Evil Never Dies, from 1999. That's right, we've been in the 90s again, so let's do a hip hip, woo, yeah. So anyway, it's directed by Jack Shoulder, writers P. Atkins and Jack Shoulder, and it stars Holly Fields as Morgana, Chris Webber as Eric, Al Foster, Andrew Divoff reprises his role as the Djinn, Nathaniel Demarest, Viator Eugenis plays Hostika, who is also he was also in Angel, City of as Russell Winters. So then we've got Randy Hall, Maria Gennaro, James Statsgia, and then we've got Paul Johansson as Gregory. Most people know Paul Johansson from One Tree Hill, Highlander the Raven, and so forth. Robert Lasardo, who also is one of those actors that I think we all know who he is. He's that guy, you know that guy that's in so many things with massive tattoos, is bald, and I think it's Mexican. Let me get that right, because I don't want to sound rude. He was born in New York, but he also might have Mexican descent. Anyway, so basically the film starts out with Morgana and her boyfriend Eric messing up a robbery, and Eric gets killed, and she shoots the guard, and basically the statue and the thing come loose, and the Djinn is free again. That's right, it's free again, and Eric's there on the floor like, and the Djinn comes out of the wall like, hello. Yeah, it's a little bit funny, this. He goes, I can take your pain away. So he gets up and is the Djinn, and basically the guy goes, freeze. And he goes, as you wish. He basically turns the bloke into ice. And he then goes into human form when the other cops turn up and they arrest him. And they take him into custody and let me get it right. And Hostika, I hate these names, holds him and says to him, oh yeah, you're gay, you're a faggot, and all this stuff. You know, the usual stuff that tough policemen apparently do in America. You know, I've never seen this, but I've never been in trouble with the cops, so I won't know. But apparently they're like this. So he then just smiles at him. Nathaniel just smiles at him like, yeah, okay, I'm the Wishmaster. You ain't got a clue what you're talking about. Screw you, basically. So then you see him in the cell, and this bloke says to him, I want your shoes. And he goes, oh, I like you. You're a man who knows what you want. And he goes, yeah, I want to walk right out of this cell and right out of this building. He goes, as you wish. And the guy ends up being crushed through the bars. It's a very cool scene. He ends up being crushed through the bars and turns into like this big heap of bones, basically, with blood. What would have been cool is if the bones had got up and walked out and just fallen on the floor. That would have been cool. And so then basically Nathaniel the Djinn ends up in prison. And for about half the movie, that's where he is. And you're like, this is a bit weird because Morgana can feel what he's doing to people, obviously, just like in the first one. And you're just sitting there going, he's in prison, and he says he's in prison because he can get loads and loads of souls. But you rarely see this. I mean, he gets about 6. So he gets threatened by the tough guy in there, and he gets asked to do things by Grice, who's Roberto Lasardo, and he does these things. So he says to Robert Lasardo's character, Grice, you don't like your lawyer? And he goes, yeah, I'd like him to go F himself. So when he's in the room with him, all of a sudden the lawyer starts going, oh, and Grice goes, are you alright? And he goes, yeah, I'm alright. Oh, and then you see his legs go up behind him and turn around and start humping himself. It's really, really funny. It's a good scene. So then you get the big top guy of the prison, the top dog, going to him, I want a part of your business. And the djinn obviously goes, I work on my own. I don't have any partners. I don't have any friends. And he's just smiling like this. For the whole movie, that's what he looks like. You know, so it's quite funny. So then the guy goes, what do you want? To the top dog bloke. He goes, I want to get wasted. I want to get stomped down. I want to get blown. And you're like, yeah, this is a bit silly, because then you've got two guys who work for you who are both actually in quite a few things, like Mortal Kombat, or is it Martial Kombat? Not the Mortal Kombat, but this other one. And they're also in Gladiator Cop as well. And Exit Wounds. They're also in Exit Wounds. But they're both basically James Kim. That's their name. James Kim and Simon Kim. That's their names. So he basically starts getting beaten up by him. And they punch him, they kick him, they can't control themselves. It's just happening. And they're like, oh no, 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 no. And then that's when we see Tony Lister Jr. That's right. Oh, should I say Tommy Tiny Lister, sorry. We see him, and he plays Tilliver, who's basically a big prison guard. Like, ooh. And he grabs hold of him, hits him away when they hit him. And you're like, ooh. And he starts having a thing for the djinn. Like, goes like this to him. I know you. Everywhere there's trouble, there you are. And I'm keeping my eye on you. So later on in the film, basically Nathaniel, the djinn, becomes friends with this Russian guy, who basically helps him get souls and stuff. And he says to him, you want to get out? And he goes, yes. He goes, then wish it. And Tommy Tiny Lister comes up to him and says to him, he says this, right? He says, I'm not letting you go. And he says to him, there must be something you wish for. And he goes something about, I'd like to slow dance with you for a minute. Or something like that. And all of a sudden, he goes, where am I? And you can see in his eyes, he's got this fear, like, and he sees, obviously, Nathaniel as the Wishmaster, the djinn. And he goes, dance, shall we? And then it cuts. And I was like, why couldn't we see him dancing? That would have been cool. But no. So then he walks out as Tilliver, who is Tommy Tiny Lister's character, and goes, you want to live? Let's go. So then later on you see basically him and the Russian guy going like this. Well, the Russian guy da, 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 and drinking. And he says to the people, this guy's the devil. So eventually his boss turns up. He says to his boss he can wish anything. And basically the boss goes, I wish for this guy's head who I don't like, who I want dead. So he goes, as you wish. And the head pops on the boss's head, which is really, really funny. It's a great scene. So anyway, Morgana runs in and shoots the djinn, and the djinn just looks at her like, huh? And so going to Morgana's character now, because I've got to move on to the next thing. Morgana's character. She goes from being a faith and a piece of scum to wanting God in her life and wanting to get rid of Satan. She tries to cut her finger off to save herself. Now, all I kept thinking was, are you trying to save yourself, or are you trying to be a part of the Yakuza? Because first of all, love, you're not Japanese. I don't know how many times you have to know this. To be in Yakuza, you have to be Japanese. But, you know, she was a faith and she was scum. So, anyway. So she basically meets up with her old friend and old lover, Gregory. Who's basically, I don't know, I think he's a priest. Or he's an under priest, one of them. And she goes to him, help me, Gregory. Help me. Satan's after me. And he doesn't believe her. So he basically goes to visit the djinn in prison. And there's this bit where he goes, oh, give me Morgana. And he goes, well, and he doesn't believe it. He just thinks it's crazy lunatic. And Turgeon goes like this, I want you, Gregory. I want you. And he goes, oh no. Because obviously he's getting the voice of Morgana through, isn't he? And he laughs at him. He laughs at Gregory. So Gregory and Morgana basically try and figure out how to stop him. They realise what happened in the first film at the beginning with the Persian king and that. And they go, oh, he goes, oh, I can do that. So they basically go to where he is, and he is at a casino where basically everybody's gambling and they're all wishing for stuff. He's like, yeah. They turn up and he does the whole fumbly do with the jewel. It doesn't work because he goes like this. It turns up in the Jin's hands and she basically starts saying some stuff and then she fights him in the bit where everybody's getting killed, just like in the first one, at the end of the first one, and just like at the beginning of the first one. This one has a whole lot of good special stuff happening, like boom, 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 people getting killed, coins coming out of someone's bum. It was the best scene, I thought. Golden coins coming out of someone's bum. So eventually he goes, give me my third wish. I want my wish. I'm getting impatient now, Morgana. Well, how can I say that wrong? Anyway, so he gets her to do a wish. And she goes, I wish that I never shot that guard. And he goes, granted. And then you see him coming home and all this stuff, right? Like a dream sequence. And then it stops and you see her and she goes, good. So she must have seen like this whole story thing up in the sky. And I was like, okay. And then she grabs hold of him and says the words and basically ends the movie. And the movie's pretty good. I have to admit, Andrew Divoff makes the movie special. He's just fantastic with the one-liners. He's got that evil look to him about how he just doesn't care about anybody and that he's not human. He doesn't look human because he's got that look like these people are my pets. These people are what I need for souls. That's what he looks like. And I like that. Holly Fields as Morgana was fantastic. She really made the role pretty good. She went from upset to being strong to having sex with Gregory and taking away his belief and to giving it back to him after he'd orgasmed to then being the heroine of the movie. That was great. I enjoyed that a lot, actually. There's this bit where he goes, I don't think this is good for God or something. She goes, you can't be sure and have sex. And you're like, what? So, everybody in this film's pretty good. I like the effects. I thought the effects were really good. I thought the film was not as good as the first one. You know, a lot of people say the second one's better, but I prefer the first one. But I think that has to do with the kills and stuff more. And it doesn't feel like the same stuff over and over again. Plus, I feel like the prison thing was a little bit too much. I could have understood for 20 minutes, but after the movie. It's still a really good film, though. I still had a lot of fun watching it, and I could easily watch it again and again and again. Now, talking about films, the Wishmaster films, the third and fourth don't star Andrew Divoff. They star someone else. I can't remember who it is right now, but it was someone else. And they're not as good. They get a little bit more crap. And I really feel like after Andrew Divoff had left, they should have stopped making them. Because to me, he's the Jinn, he's the Wishmaster. And even though they make the other Wishmaster a different one, it makes you wonder why there's two on Earth when I think there's only meant to be one. But like I said, I would like to see what would happen if you got all these Jinns turn up. Because I'd like a flashback of what a Jinn with other Jinns is like. Because it would be an awesome thing to see, wouldn't it? But anyway. So, yeah, it was well directed. It was pretty good acting. The acting went up and down, but it was a good film. I enjoyed it. It's a lot better than Candyman 3, that's for sure. And a lot better than Hellraiser Bloodlines. So I'm going to give this a 3.5. Because I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I enjoy Andrew Divoff. If Andrew Divoff hadn't been in this movie, it probably would have made the film a lot worse. Because his acting, his one-liners, is so believable. And he's so intimidating without actually doing anything. So that's why I'd give it a 3.5. Plus I thought there was a lot of weak points in it. But, you know, it's still a fun movie. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this review. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Please. And click the like button. Thanks for watching, guys. And take care. And have a lovely, lovely day.